Okay, let me again thank you for being with us this morning. We really appreciate it. And let me start by asking you how the current security situation in Israel is affecting or has affected the foundations of the Israeli economy and the industrial sector.
First of all, thank you for hosting me. We had a visit from the OECD about a month ago, and the head of the OECD was quite stunned to see Israel's resilient economy in the time of war. If you compare it to other countries at war, the numbers are fascinating. Indeed, when there's a round of violence in our region, there's usually a certain dip. But what happens to the companies and the industry and the economy, when it shrinks, it becomes more effective. And then like a spring, when it's over, you see a huge spike of successes around the world. I think it's prudent to look at the geopolitics in our region, especially now when President Trump is in the region. There's the evil axis, Iran, and Muslim Brotherhood cells around the region. I think they have a huge blow from Israel and from, and you look at the region, Hamas, Hezbollah, and the rest of the terrorist jihadi cells in the region. And then there's the Abraham Accord, the peace accord, that is waiting to expand to the Saudis, to Indonesia, to Azerbaijan. And don't be surprised that you're going to see a number of sheikhs in Judea and Samaria joining the Abraham Accord and seeking peace with Israel. And so when we finish the war, get our hostages, our 58 hostages back, surrender, Hamas must surrender and be replaced with peace-seeking leadership in Gaza. When we do that and expand the Abraham Accords, and I believe that's what's going to happen, huge prospect for Israeli economy. We're very export-driven. We do $150 billion export a year, and our goal is to reach $1 trillion in 15 to 20 years. And I believe that you're going to see huge changes in our region with the support of the United States.
Thank you. Maybe you can tell us a bit more about that, how you envision the economy recovering in the aftermath of the war.
We just had an IPO yesterday of an Israeli fintech company here, eToro, doing really well. And you see more and more companies, the Israeli economy is very resilient. And so I think that the way I see it as an ex-entrepreneur myself in the high-tech sector, we do really well. We have 10,000 startups and that are not looking at the 10 million small local economy. We're all looking at how to make a better world. So we're really good at classic high-tech, business to business, business to consumer, health and life sciences. There are 2,000 Israeli health life science companies and technology companies. That's an absolute number, second to the US alone. So they're all gearing up to see how we can do more business around the world. So the US is, of course, the primary market for the technology companies, and that's why you see so many Israeli companies here. But also we have huge expansion into the East. The Emirates is a hub. India is now looking to do a lot of business with us. And of course, we talk about Cyprus and Greece. Now that the relationship with Turkey is not existent, a lot of traffic and trade goes through our partners here in the room. And so there's many, many opportunities for Israel to expand into the global marketplace. Me as the Minister of Economy and Industry, I focus on how to help them grow, how to help them scale, how to have good government-to-government relationships, and to develop the good P2P, people-to-people relationship.
Great. Can you elaborate on this principle of what's food for Europe and the US is food for Israel?
Oh, certainly. We had really bad, tough regulations in Israel, and it was a very concentrated marketplace. Majority of products that are sold in the United States and Europe could not even enter Israel. And so we have, unfortunately still, strong monopolies, prices are going up. And in order to open up that marketplace, we actually joined the European Union without their permission. What we've done is enabled any product that is sold in Europe to be sold in Israel. And as of January 1st, 25, we finished our legislation, and now any product that carries EU can enter Israel, which is huge difference on the supply side. By the way, many American companies first market to the 400 million people in Europe before they market to the 10 million people in Israel. So when we open that up, practically all American companies that want to sell to Israel could do that because if they can sell to Europe, they could sell to Israel. But now we're working with the US administration to expand that and to look at other markets that we have a very high interest to open up and expand the products that could be sold in Israel. So we're adopting what's good in America is good for Israel. So we're going to open up more markets and enable our marketplace to be much, much more liberal, much more open. It will affect the cost of living in Israel mid to long term.
Yeah, maybe that's a blueprint that others might copy usefully, I think, joining the EU without their permission. And that in particular, how might this approach influence efforts to address the trade deficit with the US?
So we're working on it. I had a team here last week. I'm going to be in Washington next week meeting my peers. We're working on it. There's a number of things that we want to adjust. In the old free trade agreement, Israel was first to have a free trade agreement with the United States in the 80s. And many things have changed ever since. I'm sure we'll get to terms with the American administration. Both sides understand some of the challenges, and I'm sure we'll get to terms.
Great. Given the growing demand for investment in Israeli industry, what would be the message you'd like to convey to American investors today?
If you want to make money, invest in Israel. That's the bottom
Short
line.
And sweet.
We're very entrepreneurial. We understand how to scale. The Israeli companies are not really Israeli. They're global in many, many ways. And we know our stuff. And I think that I've seen so many new innovation, especially in challenging times. When people who understand the world understand that we went through a terrible crisis, October 7, and we still, our hearts are not here. Our hearts are with the 58 remaining hostages in the terrible conditions in the dungeons of Gaza, and we all want them back. So while still we're so busy in fighting and winning the war, people become very creative. I remember when I was an entrepreneur, I was doing a lot of service in the reserves as a paratrooper in the first Intifada. And I remember we had time to think, and a lot of innovation, a lot of new ideas comes when there's challenges. I remember I went to Italy one day when I was mayor of Jerusalem, and there's very little innovation in Italy. And so I asked, why is there so little innovation in Italy? Because life's so good. No challenges. Everything's great. In our country, we have so many challenges, and people innovate and think out of the box all the time. And so while we're challenged, you will see huge new ideas. I'm not just talking about defense. Today, everyone in the world are saying to themselves, whatever's good in Israel, we want. Our friends around the world on the defensive side, naturally, nobody ever in the world knows how to defend from terror better than Israel does. And so to many, many of our friends around the world, we propose new ideas and new innovation. And we want to make a better world. We want to help in agro-tech and food tech and desert tech and health tech and advanced industry and defense. All these things are Israelis looking outbound to partner with you folks here in the room.
If I may, one final question. Can you tell us what steps the state of Israel is actively taking to promote investment in its industrial sectors?
Yeah, we have good entrepreneurs. The reality is that around the world, what's precious is innovation and ideas. There are three philosophies. One is that whoever has the money has the last word. And there's places in the world that say whoever is in charge, the president, the general, whoever's in charge has the last word. In the world we live in right now, whoever knows what to do, the great idea will eventually raise the capital and bring the best results. So I think that what we can demonstrate We have about 80 unicorns to a country of 10 million people. We could demonstrate that it's a fountain of entrepreneurship. Naturally, when you invest, I mean, we follow all global standards. So a lot of the companies are Israeli related, but are Delaware companies. And so we know our way around the world. So it's very standard in terms of the way people invest in. And that's why when there's an IPO like the one that happened yesterday, it flows. It's, everyone in our country knows that if you have a good idea, your vision is to take it public in NASDAQ. Whoever wants to piggyback right on that and invest and win with our companies is welcome to do that.
Well, Minister, thank you very much.
Last one more thing.
Okay.
This is about Greece and Cyprus. What I love about doing business with you folks is that not only do we have good government to government, but there's also good people to people. And so when an Israeli wants to do business, he says, where can I go safely in the streets? Where can I be hosted and have fun? And where can I do good business on top of that? So I think that we love our neighbors in the West, and I really wish we could do more and more business together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister.
My pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.